So after seeing that there was really no zombies information in the new DLC 3 trailer, I just kind of went off and did my own thing, and oh my gosh, was that a mistake, because Cameron Dayton shared a good amount of information, not only confirming that we will be getting a standalone zombies trailer in the near future, but on top of that, he actually had a part in writing a blog post on PlayStation's website, and I'll link it down if you guys want to read the entire thing. But oh my gosh, does it share some really exciting news about this upcoming map, and this is exactly what I wanted to see out of something that wasn't Treyarch. Just do something unique to zombies, make it somewhat different, because even in Infinity Ward zombies, or Infinite Warfare zombies, whatever you want to call it, even though I like it a lot, it really wasn't all that unique, and neither has World War II zombies have been just yet. But this looks like it's actually going to do something really special, and I know a lot of people say that doesn't make sense, but say it actually sounds like Transit, and I'm hoping it's actually like that, maybe a successful Transit, because we all know Transit was not very successful. That's really what I'm hoping that this is going to end up to be. But regardless, with that said, I'm actually going to be reading you guys off some of the parts from this article, mainly just the zombies parts, and I'll just talk about the most important ones out of all of them. So with that said, let's jump right into this. So it's going to start off, at least for the zombies part, saying a fresh zombies experience where 4 new heroes are sent across 3 distinct locations to transport and defend the final pieces of Emperor Barbarossa's sword. So from this alone, we actually learn a lot of information. If they just left us with this would be cool enough, but oh my gosh, we'll get more in a little bit, but this is just very interesting. So the first thing to know is that, of course, we're going to be playing as 4 new characters, and we do know who one of these characters are, so that is already confirmed, and we'll get into that in a little bit. But for the other characters, I think we probably already know who they are also, judging from a trophy that we saw inside the trophies that were already released. And of course, if you guys want to check out my video on that, I'll have it on screen right now, so you go ahead and click away and check that one out. But of course, one of those trophies is actually called Bat Elite, and of course, as you guys know, there's a bunch of hidden characters inside the other maps, and you can unlock them. There's Baddie Agent or something like that, and I'm pretty sure those characters are actually going to turn out to be our playable characters inside this map. So that's what I see as the most likely case, and that's probably going to be our characters, because even on top of that, lately inside World War II zombies, if you do play as these special characters, you will actually see some voice lines pop up on screen if you have subtitles on, so it does look like we're going to be getting some voice lines for those characters. So it seems more and more likely that those are going to be the other characters we're going to be playing as inside this upcoming map. But of course, continuing on, it does confirm something that we were highly kind of expecting from the trophies, and that's that we're going to be going from 3 distinct locations. And this is something, again, sounds a lot like Transit, so I'm just hoping that this is going to be a special map that is kind of what Transit was doing, except on that next level. See, I don't want it to just be you do something at this location and move on to the next one. I want it to just like load up an entire new map between these maps. I don't want it to be exactly like Transit, but of course just more of a successful Transit, because that was the problem. Because thing is that if all the perks are hidden throughout all the different maps, then it's going to be hard to go from one map to the other collecting all your perks and everything, and it'd just be a pain. So I'm just hoping it's going to be, again, a successful Transit and just something unique that we've never seen before. I know I'm saying unique and like Transit at the same time, but I know it has some things that are similar to Transit, but it is special in its own way at the same time. But anyways, the last thing it says here before we move on to the next one is it actually gives a reason why we're going to be going from these 3 distinct locations, which again we'll get more information on in a little bit. But it says that we're going to be transporting and defending the final pieces of Emperor Barbarossa's sword. So saying the final pieces kind of makes me feel like they're talking about some extra pieces that we haven't seen yet, but I highly doubt that, just because, I mean, I doubt it, because what other pieces could there possibly be? But of course, if you actually see that we are going to be defending these pieces and transporting them to certain places, so that just gives us a reason why we are going to go from location to location. So that is just something to clarify some things. But of course, this is where the information really starts to flood in, and this is just really cool. So again, I'm going to read it for you guys, then I'm going to go ahead and just, of course, talk about the highlights of it. So what it says is, Allied forces are crumbling under the relentless advance of the final Reich. General Redu decides to take one last stand, a dangerous gambit, to personally lead a small unmarked caravan across a 2,000 miles of smoldering infested land that stands between Berlin and the Allied-controlled Malaga. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. From there, he and his crew face a treacherous voyage across icy southern waters and a U-boat blockades. His mission: transport the remaining pieces of Emperor Barbarossa's legendary sword to the edge of the world. Uncover the lost forages of the ancient Thrall. Make the sword whole again and deliver the final death to the Undying. And this sounds really cool for multiple different reasons, but oh my gosh, it sounds so cool. But we're going to start at the top and then again continue to the bottom. So the first thing I can notice is that, of course, the allies seem like they're losing the war, which is interesting because I thought Stroud would lose control of the zombies, and because of that nobody would be winning. But it does look like the Final Reich is going to be winning, which is interesting to say the very least, but that's just a smaller thing. But of course, this does confirm that Radu is actually going to be a part of this new crew we're going to be leading throughout this DLC 3, of course, or if you just want to call it the name of the map, of course, the Tortured Path. And this is something that I'm actually pretty excited about because, again, we're probably going to be playing as these special characters that in the past that I've criticized for not really having any implications on the storyline, because it just always seemed like they were just some characters that were there just for the sake of having some unlocked characters. But it's good to see that they're actually getting some story relevance because, again, they didn't really have that in the past. And I just want to play as Radu, see exactly what he's all about, because he is a character that's been there, but he's never really done that much. So it's nice to see that he's going to be actually a playable character. But of course, after that, it gets pretty interesting. I don't exactly know what to make of this, but let's just stick to the stuff I can make of in a little bit. I mean, right now, not in a little bit, but regardless, it says that we're going to start at Berlin and then continue to Malaga, which Malaga is in Spain, if I'm not mistaken. So this does make sense that we're starting in Berlin because, if you guys remember, the Shadow Throne actually took place in Berlin. So there is some consistency in the story right there. So we're going from Berlin to Malaga, which is just a port that's controlled by the Allies. So that's pretty interesting, but it gets a little bit strange because I don't think we're going to be very successful at getting to Malaga because, I mean, just some things that we'll see in a little bit. But of course, one thing that sounds very weird is that they're going to voyage across icy southern waters and a U-boat blockade. I don't know exactly what that means. I mean, the icy southern waters, I mean, maybe that's going to be something. I don't know if it's anything that we could really make out to be something right now because, again, it's just like, I don't know, it's just something that's icy southern waters could be a lot of different places. I mean, I don't know, so it's hard to make up that or what the heck the U-boat blockades are. But after that, and this is where it gets really interesting because, of course, we do know that we are going to be transporting the remaining pieces to Emperor Barbarossa's sword. But the thing is that earlier it was saying that we're going to Malaga, right? The port from the Allied controlled port, whatever, Malaga, all that good stuff. But then it says that they're going to transport the remaining pieces of Emperor Barbarossa's legendary sword to the edge of the world, excuse me. And of course, it says after that, uncover the lost forages of the ancient Thrall. And this is even weirder because first it says the edge of the world, which obviously there's no edge of the world, but of course if you read to the Thrall part, as you would know, or I guess I didn't know this because I had to look up what Thrall was, but that's actually relating to the most northern part. And of course, back in the past, a lot of people thought the world had an end, and the most northern part would also be an end. So this makes it sound like that they're somehow going to end up in the North Pole or somewhere close to it because, I don't know, it just obviously isn't Malaga. It looks like we're not going to be very successful at getting to Malaga, and we're going to somehow end up in the North Pole or somewhere very close to it, which I find very interesting. But this also relates or kind of makes sense with a couple of the trophies because if you guys remember, there's one trophy that says escape from under the ice, so it kind of makes sense if we're going to be escaping from under the ice, if it's especially somewhere north. So that just makes sense, but it doesn't make sense too much how we're going to end up, well, try to get to Malaga but end up somewhere in the North Pole or something like that. It's pretty interesting. Again, it's probably going to be not part of the plan, but it's just something I'm looking forward to, exactly how that's going to work out. But of course, this is the last part, and this last part is interesting on its own because it says that we're going to make the sword whole again. And of course, they're going to deliver the undead, the Undying, their final death and all that good stuff. But the first part is pretty interesting on its own because they're going to make the sword whole again. I don't think that was a part of the whole idea. I thought they were just transporting it, but it looks like we're going to maybe out of necessity have to build this sword again, and maybe we're going to use it. I don't know what to make of it, but it looks like they might have to do it out of necessity unless Radu decides he's evil and wants to use it for his own deeds and all that good stuff, but I doubt it, so we'll have to see exactly how it's going to work out, even though I really want Radu to be evil because I theorized this all the way back during the Final Reich, or was it the Darkest Shore? I can't remember exactly, but you know, we'll have to see exactly how it's going to work out. We're probably going to have to build it out of necessity just to defend ourselves. But of course, after that, it says that we're going to deliver the final death to the Undying. So assuming that this is going to be successful, because I assume that it's not going to be successful, but assuming it is, how exactly are you going to do DLC 4? I mean, if you kill all the undead, what are you going to do? I mean, I'd be all for it. Just have a DLC 4 that actually doesn't have zombies. I'd be all for it, because that's kind of what I was expecting out of the Beast from Beyond last year, which, I mean, it was fine with zombies in it, but it'd be something that we've never seen before, that you actually defeat the zombies. I mean, that'd be something special. So it's just something that I would think that would be a little unique, and we'll have to see. And like, what am I saying here? You will actually see how it works out. But anyways, it's just something that I find very interesting. But again, I highly doubt that we're actually going to be successful at delivering the final death to the undead. But that's all I gotta say here, guys. I know it was longer than I really expected it to be, because these things weren't too long, but I mean, there's a lot to talk about. It got me actually really hyped for this map. I mean, we haven't seen anything, but just from this article alone, it gets me really excited for it. But I would like to hear what you guys think about this. You guys excited for the map? Do you guys hear things that you like, you don't like? Just tell me exactly if you do or don't, and exactly why that is the case down in the comments. But anyways, if you guys did enjoy the video, go ahead, do all the normal YouTube stuff, like, subscribe, bell, share, and especially bell. But I'm gonna go, and I'll catch you guys in my next stream or video.